The economic trajectory of Iraq underwent a dramatic transformation from being one of the fastest-growing developing countries in the pre-1980s era to facing severe economic challenges after the Iraq-Iran War and the following decades. Before the war erupted in the early 1980s, Iraq's economy was flourishing, driven primarily by its robust oil exports. At that time, Iraq's oil exports were second only to Saudi Arabia among the OPEC states, accounting for 11.4% of OPEC's total exports. In the years leading up to the war, Iraq exported an impressive 3.3 million barrels of oil per day, generating substantial revenues. The country was earning $21 billion annually from oil exports, and by 1980, this figure had jumped to $27 billion. Remarkably, Iraq had zero debt and boasted foreign exchange reserves of $37 billion during this period. The nation had also established itself as a leader in the Middle East in terms of education and healthcare, with a robust system that garnered international recognition. However, the fortunes of Iraq took a dramatic downturn with the onset of the Iraq-Iran War in 1980. This devastating conflict lasted for 8 long years, wreaking havoc on Iraq's economy, infrastructure, and social fabric. By the end of the war in 1988, Iraq found itself burdened with a staggering total debt of $130 billion. Of this amount, $21 billion constituted debt to the Paris Club, while $67 billion were loans from countries such as Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, and Jordan. The economic challenges escalated further after Iraq's invasion of Kuwait in 1990, leading to the formation of the United Nations Compensation Commission. This commission compelled Iraq to pay reparations, totaling more than $200 billion, mainly to the United States and Kuwait. The post-1991 period witnessed Iraq being subjected to a comprehensive international embargo, severely restricting its ability to export oil and exacerbating the economic collapse. By the end of 2003, Iraq found itself burdened with an external debt of a staggering $500 billion. This debt included significant amounts of unpaid interest and undocumented loans. The situation remained dire for Iraq, compounded by the challenges of reconstruction and economic recovery in the aftermath of the war. In 2022, the country's public debt amounted to $117 billion. While the total debt has decreased, along with the debt-to-GDP ratio, instability since 2012 has led to a noticeable increase in this ratio. From a post-war low of 34.8% in 2012, the debt-to-GDP ratio now stands at about 44.93% of Iraq's GDP. And about the oil exports, it was only in 2012 that Iraq managed to reach the oil export levels equal as that of the pre-1980s era. According to some analysts, Iraq's economic challenges cannot solely be attributed to the war, but are also blamed on the glut in the oil market, resulting from Kuwait's surge in oil production during the crisis. This increase in oil production led to a suppression of oil prices, hindering the recovery of Iraq's economy. In hindsight, the question arises about what might have transpired if countries had considered easing Iraq's debt repayments in the late 1980s or early 1990s when Iraq was desperately seeking relief. The economic history of Iraq serves as a poignant reminder of how geopolitical events and decisions can shape the destiny of nations, leaving lasting impacts on their economies and societies.